All right, this is my Bitcoin timing of the market video. This has almost nothing to do with price. There will be one little data point, but it's not a price prediction. It's more of a time prediction and time assessment. It's like, when will this bull run be over? We can talk about highs and lows and how far we think it's going to be, but so much of Bitcoin so far has been very time sensitive, and I want to show you that on the chart. So from its inception, I've marked on here all the bull and bear runs. I will just say right off the top, the reason that that this bull run box is the size it is based on the historical gains and losses. Well, sort of. The first one's almost ridiculous because you got to start at like a penny and go up and you get 10 million%. But then the bear runs are running in the neighborhood of 80%. This bull run was 10,000%. This one was 2,000. So I just put 2,000. Now you could make an argument to say that, well, it's a diminishing return and maybe this bull run is going to be 1,000%, or maybe it's only going to be 800%. That is possible. Anything's possible. But I also share the sentiment, and I think a lot of the community does, that this previous bull run was a little bit muted, whether that's due to economic policies or that was due to the COVID or whatever. Who knows what caused that, but maybe that one was a little bit muted. Maybe this one should have been 5,000, 6,000%, and this one's going to be 3,000. I don't know. Again, this isn't about price prediction. I just want to let you know the reason that box is that tall, that's the only reason, because 2,000 sounded like a good number. Now, the one thing is that we do have historical numbers from inception to the first bear run and how long the bear run lasted, the next bull run, and those days are here. And so I just took the shorter of the last, the last two are right in the 1060s, 1061, 1068. So I just went with 1061 of this length. The first one was 1400 days long. So you could make an argument for an average of the three prior, and that would get you to 1186. And so I'm going to just put a marker there. I'm going to color it pink and say, okay, that's another possible. The other number data point to look at is days after the halving until a top, until a bull market top. Same thing, you got these numbers here. These are the days, and what we're having is each one is longer, but it's not as longer as the one before. So I spent some time with ChatGPT crunching some numbers, trying to come up with just a reasonable expectation. And you certainly could argue 580. You could also argue 620, somewhere in those ranges. So I just put 600 as a good safe median, if you want to call it that. It's probably not a calculated median. But so that's the halving days. And then the last one is, well, I got one more bonus after that, is time after presidents are in office. Granted, Obama was already in office when it launched, but I know during presidential changes, there's also change in economic policies and things. It's hard to say how much of an effect those had, but if nothing else, if we just take the days, we average the last three, we come up with 314 days for this one, which already matches up pretty good with one of these pink lines that we already have. And then the last one, I thought about this as I was thinking about the days, because presidents take office right around January 20th, or as close to as the calendar allows. So I was also looking at what days did the high actually happen in the market, and I noticed this, and it looks a little weird and off on this third one, and let me explain that one here in a minute. You can see the notes down the bottom. The first market high happened on the first week of December. The second bull run high happened on the second week of December. The third bull run high actually happened in early November. And so I asked myself, again, a lot of talk of that last bull run maybe being muted in price going up, but also maybe compressed in time. And again, I don't have a lot to go on other than two previous, but what if this all-time high, if everything would have been the same, if we wouldn't have had a pandemic, would we maybe have reached the top of the bull run in the third week of December? Kind of like, if you think about it, like how many days are there in the year? There's 365 and a quarter days. That's why we have a leap year. So maybe it is that we have our bear bull cycle is a year plus 1 week, or 4 years plus 1 week. So we have 4 years plus a week, 4 years plus a week. And so if we take that out here, we get this white line where I'll draw another pink one on top of it, and that gives us some more dates out there. So let me block those off. And so what we end up with, if we want to zoom in here, is just that the market top to me is anywhere, as far as time goes, I'm not even going to speculate on date, anywhere from mid to late October into all the way up to early, or call it late February of 2026, based on a variety of data. Now that's a broad range, but we don't know what's going to happen. But if nothing else, it kind of gives us a target to see, okay, this is the possibility. Now the next question is how high. That's a whole nother argument for a whole nother day. But I find it, some ways, at least when talking about Bitcoin, sometimes it's easier just to look at dates and say, how far out do we think the top is? And then we can figure out, when we get to those dates, is the top in, or are we seeing some evidence before that it's rolling over, or evidence after that, or some kind of knockoff top, whatever that may be. Anyway, that's how I'm coming up with those dates and those targets for when I think that the bull run is going to be over and top out.